It is important to me that you all have an insight into how I got where I am today. I have been through many phases in my training, and in 2017, I was in a dark period where I was making little to no progress, felt overwhelmed by information. I was in pain from nagging injuries and imbalances, and found that while I had all the physical energy to push myself hard in training, I was ruled by a fear of taking a wrong turn and injuring myself further. If you go to one of my oldest videos, Rehab and Rebuild, you'll see how each and every exercise was taking a soft and careful approach. I was also taking a soft and careful approach in life. I was 23 years old, unemployed, living with my parents following the aftermath of a mental breakdown. I had come a long way from the breakdown, but still had a poor work ethic, low self-worth, and hadn't accomplished anything in a very long time. I still had hopes of becoming a personal trainer, but until I could figure out my body, I didn't feel I had any value to provide anyone. So I spent hours brainstorming, researching, and agonizing over the great puzzle of the human body. What I desperately needed was guidance to fix my problems and completely transform my life in the process. I then found Vahva Fitness and became obsessed. Everything they had preached aligned with what I wanted. This was an intelligent approach to training that fixed aches and pains caused by modern life and rigid training styles. I purchased Athlete 20XX, which appealed to me as it covered a massive variety of human movement needs to build a well-rounded and powerful body. I committed to this program for 1 year, and it became the vehicle I used to completely change my life. When I tell you I gave my 100%, I truly mean it. I studied every movement like my life was on the line, and pushed myself to the point where I could barely move afterwards. My potential, my identity was at stake, and I had to become a real human being, not an empty shell. Upon reaching the end of the program, I posted a message to the Vahva private community. I'm about to read through it and tell you what kind of impact this program had. I did it! It took me about 11 months and 3 weeks to reach and complete Phase 3 of Athlete 20XX. I had no idea so much time had passed. I trained 4 rounds of Phase 1, proceeded to perform roughly 4 rounds of Phase 2, and finally 1 round of Phase 3. It is crazy how much can change in a year. I recorded a lot in a training journal so I can always look back at it clearly. And to paint a picture of this journey's beginning, let me tell you this. My very first session of the program took me 1 hour and 20 minutes to complete. I didn't have the strength for pull-ups, so I had to do negatives from a chair. My right shoulder was too unstable and in pain from years of poor training, so I had to use a dowel rod, the stick, for overhead press, just to train the movement. And by extension, most of the weighted exercises had to be well below the minimum recommended weight. Hip hinging didn't come naturally to me at all, so I had to pause and reset multiple times every single rep. It took a lot of thought and effort to get the work in and figure out how to progress in a way that was safe for me, while also trusting in the wisdom behind the program. It was an incredible battle those first couple of months, but before long I could feel things change, and I was discovering and developing a great many things that picked up the pace. I always pushed my limits, and over the last year, I was able to break the minimum requirements for time, volume, and weight on most of the exercises as my conditioning increased. But I still have so much to improve. My explosive push-ups aren't that explosive, my bent over stability is not that stable, I have many challenges in areas I didn't even realize existed before I began. And that's not just okay, it's great. This is an uphill battle, and it's always going to be. Now, there are some unexpected things that this program has gifted to me, and I want to list them out now. I feel like I've built a firm foundation that helps me understand a good deal of what I'm studying for with my personal training career. And in a circular fashion, I'm learning how to apply the knowledge there to my training. I'm a pretty cautious person by nature, and I've learned a fair bit about activation exercises, rehabilitation, regressions of movements, and anatomy, all of which I use to warm up for the sessions and perform at my best. I am now venturing into Krav Maga alongside my training, something I put off for many years because my shoulders and neck were so dysfunctional and prone to injury. Being able to train so hard has helped me mature in a way that makes me reconsider my identity, my ideals, and my role in society, which is not the transformation I was expecting. Now, if I do have any regrets at all for the last year, it was that I wasn't eating enough protein and I wasn't supplementing properly as a vegetarian up until this February, where I soon after returned to animal products and started taking creatine. So what now? Well, firstly, a week's break to focus on nothing but recovery, increasing blood flow, and relieving any tension. Next week, I'm going to take a victory lap and experience the program in full over the course of 3 months with all of the increased ability that I've developed. I've chosen to make it harder on myself than ever, and alongside with Krav Maga, I will have to stay very focused. It is daunting, but it is thrilling beyond that. After that, I'm going to finish off the year with the Warrior 20XX program. And following that, I'm going to start over with the Movement 20XX program, as I'll be in sore need of loosening up and changing speed. I will also hopefully combine it with Abs 20XX, as my core needs the bulletproofing it deserves. In the photos I have attached to this post, I'm fine with admitting that yes, I am not at an ideal body fat percentage for aesthetics. I have been eating either at maintenance or a caloric surplus over the course of this journey, as I have been trying to maximize my progress and recovery. I weigh about 82 kilos in the before photos, which were originally after photos for the previous year, and in the after photos I weigh 86 kilos. I intend to lose about 5 to 7 kilos over the next 6 months, and given my workload, my diet is unlikely to change too much, except I won't seize as many opportunities to overeat, and I'll reduce the junk food. Following the completion of Athlete 20XX, I did start the other programs as planned, and I gained a lot of benefits from them. I now consider myself a graduate of their programs, although I am by no means a master of them. I simply have a higher calling to pursue what is meaningful to me with my own training. I do consider Summerlee and Arrow unofficially mentors of mine, as they have profoundly influenced my attitudes and my mentality towards training. So thank you very much, guys. I appreciate it. I hope you all enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you all in the next one.